All right, so I am here with Amanda Morrison, our July Artist Spotlight for Harmony. And Amanda works at Indian River School District, and she also is the president of Little Theater of Watertown. And we thought it'd be a great moment to honor her for this month since July has been our focus has been education. And since Amanda works right in the school system and she does a lot of work in our community, we figured it would be the perfect fit for this month. So, welcome, Amanda. I'm so happy you're here with me today.
Hello. It's definitely a long month, but
It
school's almost over.
is almost there. Long stretch. All right. So, you work at Indian River, and can you just tell us a little bit about what you do at that school?
I do a lot of stuff at Indian River, especially since I came in with a lot of special skills that they were looking for. My main job titles, I have multiple, but I manage the theater schedule and stuff related to that and theater usage. I am in charge of the arts and education coordinating part of the whole district. And then I'm also the fine arts teacher's assistant, which pretty much means like any of the art classes, I can go in and help a teacher or teach a class. I'm mostly obviously in the theater classroom and the music classroom. So we have orchestra, band, and chorus classes, and then we have dance classes as well. So I help out all over the board with that stuff. And then I do photos and videos for the district, do things like help plan and coordinate graduation and all that fun stuff. So lots of things.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, you have a lot on your plate. That's really exciting. Kind of neat that you probably have something different going on every day. It's not always the same cookie cutter when you come to work every day. So that must be exciting and that something always fresh is happening.
Yeah, that it is good to not be stuck in the same thing. And I mean, I guess you would find everybody who does an arts related field kind of feels the same way. So
Yes, most definitely. So you do a lot of behind the scenes work. How did you get started in theater and where did that interest kind of come from, all that behind the scenes work?
oh man, actually, back in high school, they would just ask us to come in and paint like the kids in art class who were in like the advanced art classes. So I mean, let's see, I just painted the backdrops. We did Children of Eden in Oklahoma and Seven Brides for Seven Brothers.
Mhm.
So it was never too complicated, but it was always a lot of fun, like being part of the musical without having to like be part of the musical.
Mhm.
That made sense. And then when I came back from college, like I wanted to get back into it. So I remember talking with Kevin Kiddo after Oliver, and they said they were looking for people to do Spam-A-Lot, and I love Monty Python, so I was sold, and that was a whole lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. And then I've basically done something for almost every single lyric theater show since. And then Little Theater asked the Lyric Theater crew if they wanted to come in and help with One Flew Over a Cuckoo's Nest. And so I've basically done something behind the scenes for every single Little Theater show since that, and then joined the board, and now I'm president. So that's how that got started.
That's great. I was going to ask you how Little Theater came about in your life. So that's really neat how those paths just kind of intertwined.
Yeah, I kind of warn my students that if a community theater group finds out that you can do something, then they're going to rope you in and have you do it. So I always tell them to like, if you're really good at something and you don't want to do it for community theater, just don't tell them you can paint, and then you won't be painting.
That's great. Yeah, definitely. The all of our organizations around here, especially being in a smaller community, we all have to help each other out, and that's just how we get by. So it's really neat to see all those connections. Is there any other organization that you're involved in our community other than Lyric Theater and Little Theater?
I'm going to start working with jazz in the classroom once I have time to actually look at it and talk with them. They asked me in the middle of musical season, which is exceptionally busy for me. So I just really haven't had time to sit down and look at it and talk with them. Um, and then, I mean, I help out the community foundation more as a freelancer with pictures and stuff for them. I mean, I do freelance out, and a lot of like organizations, nonprofits will pick me up to the paid do freelance photos for them. Uh, School is kind of like super busy, so
Mhm.
I thought when I left the newspaper that it would give me some free time, and I was wrong. I have less time.
Surprise. Yeah, definitely. And if you don't know, Amanda did work for Watertown Daily Times for a period of time. So you do have a big background in photojournalism, correct?
Yep, that's what I went to college for, and I was at the newspaper for 8 years, so pretty good time.
That's fantastic. Definitely using your gifts and talents for in hand. Yeah, definitely in handy. So that is fantastic. Um, what do you have a favorite show or a favorite play, just in general, or one that you
General,
enjoy?
favorite shows that I've worked on. Like I directed Doubt. It was the first thing I directed. It's a four-person show. It's a pretty serious topic, but we actually went all the way to the New York State Festival for Community Theater, and then we won Best Long Performance. So that was pretty cool to just like to do that, go far. It's a good show. Like really serious, not so lighthearted shows. I think shows should have a message and you should learn something from them. I also like things like Something Rotten and The Producers that I can just laugh at.
Yes. Yeah, definitely having different genres to play with, and it keeps it more interesting, not only for our audience but also for you when you're working on shows all the time. What was the name of the show? You said it's Doubt.
Doubt, it's Doubt a Parable. Uh, Basically, the synopsis of it is there's like the Mother Superior nun and the young nun, and they're like the Mother Superior thinks that the priest might have taken advantage of some of the children, one of the children in particular in the church, a black child. And so through the process of like what do you believe, why do you believe it, and how do you come to realization, because the whole thing is that you never know what actually happened or what the truth is. It ends kind of up in the air. So it makes you go through the process of figuring out what you believe and how you stuff. It's pretty cool, I think, stuff like that that makes you think. And I had friends yelling at me because like the play doesn't have an ending. So it doesn't need to have an ending.
Right. Yeah, you leave it up to your own interpretation as the audience member. So
Yeah.
definitely. What advice would you give a student, like in school, who might want to be involved in theater, but kind of in the spot that you were in, that might want to be behind the scenes a little bit? What advice could you get that or give them if they're interested? They're not really sure. They're on the fence. What could you tell someone?
Well, I know not a lot of schools like Indian River and Carthage definitely have stage crew
Hmm.
out there for their students, but not a lot of schools do. Um, so if a kid wants to paint, or a kid wants to build, or a kid wants to be a stage manager and help run a show, I mean, the number one thing they need to do is ask, ask the person in charge um, if there's anything they can do, because if you don't reach out, they're not going to be like, oh, I think there's this kid who eats lunch who wants to maybe build something for us.
Right.
We don't know unless you ask, or if you have friends that are in the theater or in any kind of art, really like ask them if there's anything they can do, because theater is definitely way more than being on the stage. And quite honestly, you're more likely to get a job off of the stage in the theater if you want to do it professionally. So mean, that goes for being in the pit as a musician or being a fight choreographer who just teaches the people how to do the stuff on stage, or the person who paints and builds the sets, or the person who makes sure that the props go back where they are. I mean, every single one of those people has to be part of a theater experience for it to happen. So, I mean, the most obscure thing you want to do, you could find a job in doing it. So,
Yeah, that is the one of the fantastic things about theater is that there is a niche for literally everyone. There is a spot for you if you want to be involved. So that's really, really neat.
yeah.
One last question for you. Anything coming down the pipelines that you can share with us? I know, obviously, with our whole COVID situation, all of our theater programs and everything was shut down. Things are now starting to come back to fruition. Is there anything that Little Theater is working on, or anything that your school is working on over the summer, or any of the organizations that you're involved in? Is there anything that you can share with us?
Well, let's see. The most upcoming thing, we have a couple of fundraisers that if people are interested, they just need to go to our website and look them up. Uh, all the details are there. I don't know a lot of the details off the top of my head, but as for Indian River, we've already announced we're going to do She Kills Monsters Young Adventure Edition on our main stage. We'll have the audience in person no matter what that means. That'll be in October. She Kills Monsters is pretty cool. It's basically the story of two sisters who have an age gap, and the older sister finds the younger sister's Dungeons and Dragons module journal when she's packing up her room. So the sister plays the Dungeons and Dragons module with her sister's friends to learn about her sister. So it's really nerdy, really geeky, really good storyline.
I was going to say
So
very modern. I mean, it's
yeah,
perfect for, our generation.
yeah. So it's fun. It's a lot of fun stuff like that. We intend on doing a normal musical at the school next year. Fingers crossed, because
Santos.
it was very different this year doing something recorded, socially distanced with cohorts of kids coming in at different scheduled times. So we're ready for something a little bit more normal. And then I know that we plan on doing some collaborative projects with lyric theater and with stage notes, workshops and stuff in the future. So just trying to get us all back in the swing of things to get our pool of actors back, because it's honestly like we haven't done anything for Little Theater since like October, November 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think about it, like, holy cow, it's going to be 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's the big stuff. If people want to keep track of stuff that we're doing, we do have an Instagram, a Facebook page, a Twitter, and a website. Uh, all of those are basically littletheaterofwatertown.com, and theater is spelled fancy with the R-E.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and we'll have all of that information. We can provide that all on our Harmony website as well. Cool. Yeah. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to share with us? Is there anything that I missed that's important in your life that you'd like to share about the performing arts?
I mean, I guess the big thing for me is if you want to do theater stuff, we need more than just actors, like we were talking about earlier. So if you want to volunteer to teach a workshop or volunteer to be on stage crew, it's always helpful. And honestly, like in my story, we kind of share people between all the organizations. So like if you want to get involved in theater, and even just to like put your foot in the water and meet people in theater, like a good way to do that is to just volunteer to be an usher at a show or something. So and also always looking for members for our organization. Now that we actually have shows and stuff coming back up, we'll be able to extend benefits to people because we can do stuff. So
Yeah, definitely. Well, it was really nice to talk to you.
yeah.
And I'm so happy that you could join us and that we can feature you, and have a great summer.
Yeah, woo,
Well
summertime.
deserved after this year.
Absolutely.